Imagine this, a woman ruling as king. No, this isn't a modern feminist fantasy. Almost 3,500 years ago, Hatshepsut, a woman, ruled Egypt as a king. Now, let's rewind the clock for a moment. Hatshepsut, born into royalty, was destined to wield power. She was the daughter of Pharaoh Thutmose I, and upon his death she married her half-brother Thutmose II, stepping into the role of queen. But destiny had a different plan for Hatshepsut. When Thutmose II unexpectedly passed away, Egypt was left with a young, inexperienced pharaoh, Hatshepsut's stepson, Thutmose III. But he was a mere child, and the kingdom needed a strong leader. This was the moment Hatshepsut had been thrust into, a moment that would set the stage for her unprecedented rise to power. In a twist of fate, Hatshepsut found herself in a position to seize power. But would Egypt accept a female pharaoh? It's one thing to seize power, it's another to keep it, especially when you're a woman in a man's world. This was the predicament Hatshepsut found herself in, following the death of her husband, Thutmose II. Initially, she was appointed regent for her stepson, Thutmose III, a mere child who was not yet ready to rule. But Hatshepsut was not content to simply warm the throne for her stepson. She had a vision for Egypt, and she intended to see it through. To do so, she had to transition from regent to pharaoh, an unprecedented move that required finesse and strategy. Hatshepsut used religious rituals and political alliances to secure her position. She claimed her father had appointed her his successor, and even took on the physical appearance of a male pharaoh, complete with a false beard, to visually assert her authority. Hatshepsut cleverly navigated the corridors of power, but wearing a false beard was only the beginning. Scene script. Hatshepsut's reign wasn't just about power plays. Under her rule, Egypt prospered. Now, let's delve into the crux of her reign. Hatshepsut was a ruler who was not only interested in maintaining the status quo, but also sought to elevate Egypt's standing on the world stage. Her reign was marked by a focus on trade and economic prosperity. She re-established trade networks that had been disrupted during the Hyksos occupation of Egypt. This included a famous expedition to the land of Punt, which brought back a wealth of exotic goods such as ivory, gold, and myrrh trees. These ventures not only filled the royal coffers but also stimulated Egypt's economy, leading to a period of unrivaled affluence. But Hatshepsut's ambition didn't stop at trade. She was also a great builder. Under her watchful eye, countless monuments and buildings were erected, the most famous being her mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri. This architectural marvel, laden with intricate reliefs and statuary, stands as a testament to the grandeur of her reign. In a world of constant conflict, Hatshepsut chose a different path. She fostered peaceful relations with neighboring kingdoms, preferring diplomacy over war. This strategic approach assured Egypt's stability and prosperity, allowing her to focus on internal affairs. Now, here's an interesting tidbit about Hatshepsut. In art and statuary, she was often depicted as a male pharaoh, complete with the traditional false beard. This was not a denial of her femininity, but rather a clever strategy to assert her authority and legitimacy in a male-dominated society. It was a visual statement. Hatshepsut was as potent and capable as any male pharaoh. In summary, Hatshepsut's reign was a time of economic prosperity, architectural brilliance, and diplomatic finesse. Her portrayal in art underscored her authority and challenged gender norms of the time. Hatshepsut proved that a woman could rule as effectively as any man, but what happens when the woman is no longer around? In the sands of time, even the most formidable rulers can be forgotten, or in Hatshepsut's case, deliberately erased. After her death, it seems that efforts were made to blot out the memory of Egypt's first female pharaoh, likely initiated by her very own stepson, Thutmose III. It's a bit like when you try to delete your embarrassing karaoke videos from the family group chat, only on a grander, more monumental scale. Her statues were defaced, their faces chiseled away as if they never existed. Her name, once engraved in the annals of history, was systematically removed, like an unwanted typo in a history textbook. But here's the twist in the tale. You can't erase a queen who thought like a king. Despite the efforts to erase her, Hatshepsut's legacy lives on. A woman who dared to defy conventions and rule as a king. Now that's a story worth remembering.